Once upon a time, you had two choices if you want to get fluent in Japanese. Option one, take expensive, location dependent Japanese classes, or option two, move to Japan. I actually did both and had a mostly good time doing so. But though I think classes can be helpful for those that can afford the tuition and the time, and that living abroad can be profoundly transformative, neither of these is a requirement in today's world. Today, anyone with an internet connection, a little creativity, and a healthy dose of discipline can reach a high level of fluency anywhere in the world if they create an effective immersion environment. I call this approach the Anywhere Immersion Method, or A.I.M for short, and it forms the foundation of everything you'll see in my videos, read in my blog, or in my Fluency Friday newsletter, or in my books and courses. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a fun and effective Japanese language immersion environment, no matter where in the world you happen to live. But first, what exactly do I mean by anywhere immersion? In a nutshell, anywhere immersion means surrounding yourself with as much of your target language as possible, even if, or especially if, you don't live where the language is spoken. Your goal is to make almost everything you hear, read, see, and say on a daily basis be in Japanese. So what does this look like if you are learning Japanese here in the States or in some other corner of the globe? If you're listening to the radio, do it in Japanese. If you're listening to podcasts, do it in Japanese. If you're watching a TV show or a movie, do it in Japanese. If you're scrolling social media, do it in Japanese. If you're reading the news, do it in Japanese. If you're looking something up on Wikipedia, do it in Japanese. If you're asking Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant something, do it in Japanese. If you're getting turn-by-turn driving directions on your smartphone, do it in Japanese. I could go on and on with examples, but I think you get the point. As Katsumoto from All Japanese All the Time said, make sure that Japanese is visible and audible in your life. Perpetually, prominently, repeatedly, more often than not, visible and audible. Ask yourself, what am I seeing? What am I hearing? Now, obviously, the percentage of time you can realistically spend in Japanese will depend on your life circumstances, your job, your marital status, etc. But it's important to realize that everyone can at least increase their exposure to Japanese in small, meaningful ways each day. And it's important to remember that you don't have to be immersed 24/7 for this approach to work. Some Japanese language exposure is better than none. As Voltaire advised, we mustn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Just start by implementing a few of the suggestions I share in this video, and then add in more as your confidence grows and you start seeing results. So why does anywhere immersion work? Most people assume if they're going to learn Japanese that they need a textbook and they need a classroom and a teacher. Those things can help, but my Anywhere Immersion method actually has a lot of advantages over traditional textbook and classroom-based learning. Here are 6. Number 1, it's more fun. The Anywhere Immersion method allows you to choose enjoyable, engaging materials and activities that you love. Number 2, it's less expensive. Language classrooms and textbooks are not only boring usually, but they're also usually really expensive. Anywhere Immersion lets you choose fun, modern resources instead, many of which are free or at least ridiculously affordable. Number 3, it's more efficient. Your custom immersion environment allows you to make use of what the late polyglot Barry Farber called hidden moments, little scraps of time that would otherwise be wasted that you can stitch together for useful immersion throughout your day. For example, waiting in line, waiting for the elevator, waiting for a call to connect, etc. Number 4, it's more convenient. Anywhere immersion allows you to truly learn anywhere, anytime. You don't need to travel to a class or change your address. You can learn on a train. You can learn on a plane. You can learn while eating your green eggs and ham. Number 5, it's more natural. Humans have learned languages through immersion for hundreds of thousands of years. It's how our brains are wired. Trying to learn solely through textbooks is a modern invention and a fool's errand. And number 6, it's more personalized. Anywhere immersion allows you to tailor your learning process to your unique interests, needs, goals, and learning preferences. In classes and textbooks, you are stuck with someone else's preferred teaching style and methods. Now let's talk about how Anywhere Immersion will give you the 2 essential ingredients you need to get fluent in Japanese or any language: input and output. In linguistics, input refers to listening and reading content. That is exposure to the language. There are numerous ways to flood your brain with meaningful Japanese language input throughout your day. Here are but a few of my favorites. Listen to Japanese podcasts, radio, and music. You can find thousands of free Japanese podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, etc. Or you can subscribe to a premium podcast like Japanese Pod 101, which comes with extra resources like transcripts and learning tools. See my blog post, Elevate Your Japanese Listening Game, with these 5 must-listen podcasts for suggested Japanese podcasts. Click the info card above or the link in the description below. You can listen to Japanese radio shows anywhere in the world for free using the TuneIn app or website. Or you can jam to Japanese songs on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube, etc. See my blog post, How to Learn Japanese Using Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music for tips and step-by-step instructions. Again, link in the card above or down in the description below. Watch Japanese videos, anime, TV shows, and movies. As the language blogger Katie Harris put it, languages are about people. If you don't have real people, films and TV are the next best thing. I couldn't agree more. And with so many streaming services available today, including YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, Max, Crunchyroll, etc., language learners today have no problem finding engaging, enjoyable Japanese videos to watch. And best of all, many of these platforms are now producing their own original Japanese content, many of which some of my new favorite shows. See the links in the description for some of my recommended Japanese shows on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, etc. And a pro tip, if you are watching Japanese videos on Netflix or YouTube, make sure to install the Language Reactor extension for Chrome. This free extension adds supercharged subtitles and captions to videos you watch on those 2 platforms in your browser. A few of my favorite features of Language Reactor. Number 1, you can turn on 3-way subtitles/captions. So you can have the original Japanese captions, you can have human-created English subtitles, and you can have a machine-translated English subtitle that shows you literally what is being said in Japanese. And 2, they have a built-in pop-up dictionary. So any words or phrases you see in the Japanese, you can click on it, see what it means. And then 3, you can save those and export those to Anki so that you can study and memorize that vocabulary in an efficient way using spaced repetition. Read Japanese comics, books, blogs, magazines, the news, etc. There is no shortage of Japanese content to read today. You can find manga, Japanese comic books to read for free online, or you can get a box of physical manga delivered right to your doorstep using a site like Box of Manga. You can enjoy a nearly endless variety of Japanese books, including fiction and nonfiction, digital, print, or audio. Make a pilgrimage to the nearest branch of Kinokuniya, if there's one near you, to browse the stacks in person, or head over to Amazon Japan to peruse their online shelves. You can stay on top of current events using NHK's free web news easy site, which provides daily news stories in simplified Japanese. And their articles include companion video or audio recordings and a useful built-in dictionary. Change your device and web display languages to Japanese. With just a few taps or clicks, you can change your smartphone, your computer, your TV, your social media accounts, and your web browsers to Japanese. This way, you get valuable exposure to authentic Japanese throughout your day as you go about doing things you do anyway. Okay, so that was input. Now let's talk about its counterpart, output. In linguistics, output refers to speaking and writing. So that is the things you do to practice the language. Here are some effective ways to practice speaking and writing Japanese, no matter where you happen to live. Meet one-on-one with an online Japanese language tutor. The single most important thing you can do in your Japanese language journey is meet with a tutor on a regular basis. They will create a cultural context for the language. They can share useful vocabulary and patterns. They can suggest useful resources. It's a lot easier for them to find online than it is for you. And they can point out your mistakes before they become fossilized, which is a word in linguistics meaning very, very entrenched and difficult to undo later. There are numerous places to find tutors online today, but my 2 favorites are Italki and LanguageTalk. Italki has a large number of highly rated tutors, including professional teachers and community tutors. They have a useful scheduling tool that makes sure you both show up at the right time, no matter what your time zones are. And they have some useful learner resources, including a Japanese learner blog and a number of tutor-created podcasts. LanguageTalk has fewer total tutors, but those they do have are of extremely high quality. According to their website, they have a acceptance rate of applications for new tutors lower than 10%, and it really does show. Practice chatting with AI. Though you should practice communicating with real, actual humans as much as possible, it can be difficult, expensive, and downright intimidating to do that all the time. Fortunately, there are now a number of AI-powered tools that allow you to practice 24/7 without any of the performance anxiety or social stakes that tutoring entails. A few of the most promising AI-powered tools I've seen and tested out are ChatGPT and Teacher AI. Get your writing corrected. The single fastest way to improve your Japanese writing is getting direct feedback and immediate correction from a native speaker or an AI tool. You can have your online tutor correct your writing asynchronously or do it together live in a session. Or you can simply paste any Japanese text you've written into ChatGPT and ask it to find any mistakes, rewrite it in a more clear way, summarize it, etc. Text with native Japanese speakers. Text messages are another great low friction way to practice writing in Japanese. If you don't have any Japanese friends to practice with, don't despair. You can use the app HelloTalk to find native Japanese speakers to practice chatting with for free anywhere in the world. And they have a bunch of cool built-in tools that allow them to correct you, record audio, etc. Keep a journal in Japanese. Writing a daily journal in your target language is a great way to practice writing, jotting down useful words and phrases that you encounter during your immersion activities, questions that you want to ask your tutor, and monitoring your progress over time. It can be really hard to see and feel that you're improving, but when you go back and look at old entries, you realize like, wow, I really actually have improved quite a bit. You can use whatever app or notebook you want. Personally, I think it's good to have both a digital and an analog journal solution. They both come in handy in different ways. I personally use the app Day One, which I love, especially the On This Day feature that shows you entries from that day and years past. And on the physical side, I like the bullet journaling method, and I'm a total nerd about it. And I use the actual official bullet journal, physical journal, but use whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. So those are some of my favorite ways to get Japanese exposure and practice anywhere in the world. But I want to say, as powerful as Anywhere Immersion can be, it's important to understand that immersion is not the same thing as osmosis. Contrary to popular belief, you will not automatically pick up a language simply by being surrounded by it. You have to actually show up, do the work, and practice. And the best proof of this I've ever seen are the countless numbers of expats that I met in Japan, in Bangladesh, and then in Taiwan, who had lived there for years, some even decades, and could not speak the local language. In the same way, you won't automatically pick up Japanese by just passively listening to podcasts, watching Netflix shows, and not really paying attention. You have to actively listen, speak, read, and write the language, practice with native speakers, work computers, and get correction. So no, Anywhere Immersion is not a panacea, but learning in this self-guided, autodidactic way is way more effective than just going through a traditional textbook or classroom-based approach. And it has the advantages of letting you learn right where you are right now. So get to it. You're already here on YouTube, so right after this, why not go find some Japanese videos? Don't forget to install that Language Reactor extension too if you need some help understanding what's going on. And then when you're hungry for more Japanese tools and resources, go check out my free immersion toolbox over at anywhereimmersion.com/toolbox. All right, happy immersing. We'll see you next time.